This is a really special conversation you're about to listen to or watch. At the Common Sense Network, our goal is to bring people with different perspectives together and to shine a light on perspectives we don't often hear. And today we're going to be speaking to somebody who's a family member of a group of people taken as hostages by Hamas on October the 7th. The youngest person taken as a hostage was just 9 months old. And his family member is here today to talk about the devastation he's faced as he's been trying to navigate whether members of his family are alive, whether they're dead, what condition they're in, whether Hamas will ever release them, and also to speak about the psyche of the ordinary Israeli when they're thinking about this conflict. We had a really wide-ranging conversation, and I hope that you listening will lean in, will let me know what you think, but also will stay engaged in this conflict as we all look for peace. On October the 7th, 2023, this man's life was turned upside down.
My family was kidnapped by terrorists on 7th of October.
You may have seen the news headlines. However, for Yahri, they weren't just stories. They had a personal cost. If you could speak to those who kidnapped your family, like what would you say to them?
It's not human. It's not human. But they are terrorists.
No warning, no escape. In a single moment, his world was torn apart. How can you cope when you're not really sure where they are, how they're doing, if they're alive?
The Israeli wants peace. They don't want war. They don't war. If the Arabs will put their weapon, there will be peace. If Israel will put a weapon, there will be no Israel.
Now he sits down with me, a father, a husband searching for answers, fighting to hold on to hope. In this podcast, he tells his story, the fear, the uncertainty, and the desperate wait for his family's return. Yair, thank you so much for coming here, for making the trip all the way from Israel to be here today. You're here in our studio. For people who are listening and watching, and they're just thinking, who are you? How would you just describe that to us? Like, who are you?
I'm 62, almost 62 years old. I'm from Israel, and I'm here not for pleasure. I'm here because I have a cause. I need my story to be heard here and in the world, in anywhere, any place else in this world. What is happening is my family has a tragedy. In Israel, I don't know if you know what happened. I don't know if your audience know what happened. My family was kidnapped by terrorists on 7th of October. And I'm trying to do all the effort I can do to release them as soon as possible, because they are almost 300 days to 290, or I don't know the some of the days. So I'm here to say what I have to say, and for you to ask me any question that can interesting you to understand what is going on in Israel and our family.
Yeah. Well, thank you again for being here. Like I said before, a lot of young people in this country are obviously interested in the conflict. They want to see peace. They want to see resolution. But a lot of us, when we think about the conflict or the war, we don't really know anyone who's involved in the war. We don't know any real stories. We see things on TikTok, online. And so I'm hoping in this conversation, we can just learn a bit more about the actual cost and what's happening to people's lives. So let's talk a bit about your family and sort of how you found out and what happened. So can you take me back to, that period, that time that you found out that the members of your family had been kidnapped by Hamas?
Yeah. I certainly can do it because nobody can forget what is happening there. 6th of November, it was a holiday in Israel. We celebrate Sukkot and Simchat Torah, 2 holidays together. I was there in Ashkelon, is nearby Gaza. 7th of October, I took my father to the synagogue in the morning, 6:30. And suddenly I hear booms, I hear explosion. I can see missiles flying behind my head in Ashkelon because Ashkelon is a nearby city, near Gaza. And in the beginning, I thought it's something that sometimes they're doing something like this. They're shooting all areas. But for some reason, I opened the radio and I sound to hear the alarms. That's all over the place, all over Israel. And I was terrified. What is going on there? So we went to my place in Kfar Saba. Kfar Saba is near Tel Aviv, in the middle of Israel. And we were there. And we tried to understand what is going on. We opened the TV. And we start to see pictures and photos of what is going on Gaza. And the first photos that we saw is all in things that happen in the telegrams, in the videos that Hamas releases. We didn't know what is going on there. And we started to hear the news and starting to talk with my family. And then my sister told us, listen, you know what happened? Yarden was kidnapped.
And who's Yarden?
Yarden is my cousin. He was kidnapped with his wife, Shiri, and both children, Kfir and Ariel.
Who was only 9 months old at the time.
He was 9 years old, and Kfir was 4 years old, and we thought that they're talking nonsense. I told her, how do you know? And my sister later on, my Yarden's mother, later on told me, she knows that from her friend in the UK. Her friend from the UK heard about what is going on in Israel. She didn't know anything. She just go into Telegram and social media, thing like that. And she sent my sister the movie that Shiri and Kfir baby and Ariel was kidnapped. The video footage that the mother, the famous photo, a mother holding 2 red kids in her arms. And then she told me, yes, listen, what is happening to you? Yeah, I can see this one. So my sister was in shock. She said, what are you talking about? This is my nephew. This is my nephew. This is my
cousin,
my bride, my how you say, she's my wife. And immediately we start to chat. They start to chat in the family. They start to do the chat, and she talked to her sister and sorry, she talked to her son. She talked also to her son before the picture was there. They were talking with the WhatsApp, and Ofri is this Yarden's sister, and she was in contact with him all the time. And he told us there are terrorists right here and they are shooting. And it was a mess. It was a mess. Nobody knows nothing.
So when you saw the videos, did you know it was true that that's my cousin or that's my...
Yeah, of course. It's you can see she was devastated. Holding her son, holding the boat. I will show you the picture later on. I think all the world saw it. A woman covering her two sons and terrified to death, and the terrorists around her. Then we noticed that she was kidnapped, and later on we thought, okay, then he's not answering. And the last message that he sent to Ofri on the WhatsApp was the message that everybody would like to hear it every day, all the time, but not in this situation. He told her, "Listen, sis, goodbye, I love you."
That's the last thing he said.
That's the last thing to say. And it looked like the end. We tried to look for him. Couldn't find any footage of him, not around the house. I thought because he's a man and he has a gun. And later on we discovered that he tried to shoot through the door and to try to save his family. So he went... later on we realized that he went before and he was kidnapped, and later on they were kidnapped. But we didn't know what happened to him. I was sure that he was dead because he was a man and he has a gun in his rifle. It's a gun, not a rifle. And we didn't know what happened to him. So we went outside. Nobody could find him, and only later on we found, I don't remember how, we got the footage of him taken by terrorists on a motorcycle, wounded in his head, and he's doing like this.
I mean, that's just that's devastating to think about. I mean, so were they taken from their home then? This family of four, they were taken from their home against their will, dragged. You're seeing these images. You're trying to work out what's going on. So, again, knowing what you know, do you think they're still alive?
I thought that as long as I can see in the picture, at least that they are alive, it's fine with me. It's better to be alive and to be taken and not to be dead. You know, Shiri's father also Shiri's parents also live in Iroz. They are both murdered, and they was burned inside their own home. They was burned to death there. It took 2 weeks or more to discover that they were there. They couldn't find them until they recognized them between all what happened there.
And how is this? I mean, how has your family been coping? I mean, it sounds like a ridiculous question, because how can you cope when you're not really sure where they are, how they're doing, if they're alive? First of all, I'm coping it a little bit different, because I'm trying to be focused and try not to think about them, because I have things to do. Right now I have a mission. We need to release them. I'm focusing on that one, and I can't put my mind in other places and to think more about them, because if I think about them, I will start to cry all the time, and I can't be focused. Yarden's mother is, I think maybe she's going to be crazy later on. I don't know. There are all the emotions of everybody is, you can light it, like it, and it can be explode in a minute. So, the reaction is very, 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 very difficult. But, the days are passing by and we're trying to think what to do. But Yeah, it's I can see it on your face. It's obviously very difficult and still very raw. I just wonder what kind of support you've had so far. So, how's the government acting what kind of support are you receiving? Is the Israeli government supportive? What's been that experience like?
What happened in October the 7th? Nobody in this country was prepared for something like this. Nobody thought that Hamas will go inside Israel, kill 1,200 people, go into several cities, occupied some of them, and go into the festival and start shooting all the people around, splitting around, moving around. It was a chaos. We didn't know. Nobody knows what to do because it didn't happen in Israel. I don't know if it happened in the world itself. So some of the families that realized that their son, daughter were missing, start to collect information. And suddenly they realize there's no one or two. There are dozens, there are hundreds of them dead, kidnapped. And they start to build in headquarters immediately, a civilian one, without the government yet. With the civilians did it very, very quickly and start to gather into information and to contact the families and to make an organization headquarters for the family. We call it it's a big family of kidnaps. And later on, the government took her a while to do something and to prepare and to create an headquarters for the families. So they are supporting us. They kind of some of this financially because some of us it doesn't work, and psychologists and military men that can do the connection between what is going on and the families to break them a bad news or good news or whatever. So we have two kind of headquarters in Israel. The formal one and the civilian one.
This is kind of what I was going to ask you next. Is obviously we've seen some hostages released, thankfully. However, have you had any information given to you about how Yarden, Shiri, Ariel, like how they're doing? Have you had anyone tell you how they're doing?
The only things that we are getting, is there's not much intelligence in information about them. What we saw, what we could see is what we can find or what the Hamas released or showing in the media. We saw a picture of a movie of Shiri being kidnapped.
Wow.
We later on found another one that she was taken to another place. Later on, they show Yarden. They showed Yarden. They filmed, and they said that they announced the media. Shiri and the kids were killed. And immediately then they put a film on Yarden and doing a psychological terror against us, and they filmed it. When they come to it and they tell him, they ask one of the other prisoner to tell him that IDF killed Shiri and the kids, and to tell them that they are dead. She didn't do that. Yeah. She didn't do that. So he came to him, and they said to him, "Listen, your family was killed by they are dead now. So that's what they told him in the captivity.
Wow. I mean, one of the things that for me is really hard to read is it Kifri? How do I pronounce it? Kifri, the youngest?
Kfir.
Kafir, sorry.
Kfir, yeah.
Kafir was taken at 9 months old.
At 9 months, yeah.
And you just think, what could they possibly? I mean, why would you take a child that young? I mean, if you could speak to those who kidnapped your family, like what would you say to them?
It's not human. It's not human. But they are terrorists. They don't care about humanity. I don't know if you see the horror movie. What they did I saw some of the movie and I couldn't see anymore. I look at some of the film and I saw the cutting head with a shovel, cutting. And one thing is important to understand. I'm the most important thing for us, for Israel, for what happened, is all the pictures, all the movies. Lucky for us is Hamas published them by himself. So nobody can say it's a lie. Nobody can say it's a fake. Because they did it, they filmed it with their GoPro, and they film it and they put it on the media immediately after almost immediately. We can see also footage later on from the GoPro camera that we captured. So this is lucky for us that they filmed it, and nobody can say that it's not true. So this is important for us to understand, for the world to understand what we are dealing here. We are not dealing here with the regular people. We are dealing here with terrorists. That human life is nothing for them. Why to take the mother and to put both children on her, 9 years old, not vaccine with all the vaccine that he needs to be vaccinated, like the polio right now. That's supposed to take. Who is going to? What can you say to people like this?
So I really want to understand what the ordinary Israeli thinks about what's going on right now, because some people listening to this will understand fully your plight and will be wishing you well and wishing the safe return of your family and your loved ones. But they will also be thinking, when a country's at war, is this the price essentially that has to be paid? Because they would say, well, in Palestine and in the Gaza, we're seeing lots of people murdered as well. So when I just want you to take me into the mind of the ordinary Israeli. What do they think about this conflict? How are they feeling? Haven't been at war for such a long time and so many rockets fired every day. And, how does the ordinary Israeli think about this conflict?
Yeah. I will tell you, first of all, the easiest thing that I can. The Israeli wants peace. They don't want war. They don't war. And I start by quoting our Prime Minister Golda Meir that says, if the Arabs will put their weapon, there will be peace. If Israel will put a weapon, there will be no Israel. So we want peace, but we are preparing to war because we need to defend ourselves. But do we want peace? Yes, of course we want peace. We make peace with Egypt. We make peace with Jordan. We want to make peace with everybody. But it's very difficult to make this peace and with somebody that doesn't want you to be around. And you can see that it starts with Iran. See all the places that Iran is there. See the status of the countries: Iran, Lebanon, Iraq, Syria, Yemen. See what the status there. You can ask Arab Israeli if they want to live in Israel. Tell them, you have the opportunity to take this village that it's near the border with Palestinians. There's a village nearby. Let's take this part, and you can be part of the West Bank, for example. Or you want to stay in Israel. Ask them what they want. Say, no, we want to stay in Israel. Because in Israel, everybody wants peace. I want peace, but I want somebody that I can do peace with. If I want peace and you don't want peace, what can we do? There are some people in the Palestine that want peace, but the others that gathering there, they don't want peace. How can you make peace with somebody that doesn't want to do peace? And I don't mind. I don't mind about all of this. I don't care about lands and things like that. I want to live. Everybody wants to live in peaceful. But just tell me, how can I make peace with somebody who doesn't want to make peace with you? And if they will say, yes, we want to make peace, okay, show me that you want to make peace. Don't educate your kids from 3 years old to say Israel is the enemy, and we teach our kids in the kindergarten, we teach them peace song, not war song.
So, I mean, thanks for sharing that. I think that's really helpful for just understanding the psyche of the kind of ordinary Israeli. So, you're talking about peace. I just wonder then, if it's peace you're after, if it's peace that most people in Israel are looking for, how do you feel about the actions of the Israeli government? Do you think it's furthering the cause of peace? Do you think there will be peace? I mean, how hopeful are you about peace in the future with the way things are currently going?
It's a very problematic question, but I'll tell you, in any country, there's always the left wing and the right wing. In Israel, most of the Israelis are in the middle. In the middle, the right wing that they are more for land or something like that, and the left wing more for the other side, more peace, but they don't care about the consequences, that what is going to happen. But most of the Israelis are in the middle, and I think, I believe it, that if somebody from, I don't know, somebody that can rule there in the other side, and we can trust him that he can make peace and to stay in peace, I think most of the Israelis will force the government and everybody to do peace. To do peace. Don't forget, we made peace in Egypt. We remove what we occupied because of the war that forced on us. We occupied, but we released land to them with no problem. So we want to make peace, but we need to do with whom? Whom is going to do us to give us this peace? That is the situation. This is the real situation. You want to make a contract. You want to buy an apartment. Can you buy with the wife says no and the man said yes? No, you need both of them to agree. So there are many brands there or in the Palestinian, like the PLO, like the Hamas, like many of them.
Yeah.
Who is going to make peace with us? I don't know.
Thank you for this. So I want to shift gears a bit because I want to talk about this idea of peace and actually how you get to peace. Because you raised a really important point that I think a lot of people don't always consider, which is in order to have peace, you have to have two willing parties, right? You have to have one party that says, hey, we would like peace, and the other party say, okay, let's work together. Right now in this conflict, it doesn't seem like there's two willing parties who want peace. So how then do we actually have peace? Because a lot of people don't know Hamas and what Hamas stands for. You know, a lot of people see Hamas, especially here, they see Hamas as, you know, an organization that's just trying to defend the rights of Palestinians. A lot of people say the reason why Hamas exists is because Israel has committed quote unquote genocide, and Israel has been oppressing, you know, the West Bank, you know, Gaza for so long, and Hamas is just striking back, right?
Let's talk about at the beginning about Hamas. Let's talk about 20 years ago. It's not important the dates.
Yeah.
The PLO was there. Yasser Arafat was there.
PLO is the Palestinian Liberation Organization, right? So they were the government in Gaza and Palestine. They ruled in the
beginning in West Bank and Gaza.
Yeah.
And then later on he died, and it was Hamas. It was Hamas and PLO in Gaza. And they fought between them. Who is going to lead? Of course they shoot each other, or they killed each other, and Hamas
won basically.
Won and remove the PLO from there, and they went to the West Bank. Israel was actually was there. Hamas was elected by the people of Gaza, to be in charge. Okay? Yeah. Hamas was there. Israel left Gaza. In the agreement, they left Gaza.
In around 2004.
Yeah,
right?
Something like this. Yeah, about 20 years ago. Israel left Gaza. Totally. I think we have their settlements there. We took all our settlements there. We took cities from there. We took all the Jews, everybody that was there, we took him out. It was very difficult for people inside Israel, the Jews, try to fight against it, but no. The government actually put them all in Israel and left Gaza alone.
And the idea is that this will allow for peace.
Yeah,
that was the hope.
Yeah. So you said that they don't want occupation there. Okay, we left everything there. There was greenhouses, there was everything there. A beautiful place that people can live there with no problem. Israel all this time supplies water, electricity, and everything, even if they are so-called our enemy. But we give them all the things. They even come to take treatment in Israel. Yes, Ahmed Yassin, the one, Yahya Sinwar, this one got treatment for his health in Israel. Okay, so when we left Gaza, they had a lot of money coming to Gaza. A lot of money from all over the world, from the UK, from Europe, from the United States, from the UN, from everybody. They got a lot of money. They have a lot of workers there. What they did with this? Nothing. Just build tunnels. They buy guns. They build. They didn't. The education. They didn't do all. They did. Education continued to be only against Israel. They can be. We said like a new Singapore. They can be an island of heaven almost, but they didn't do it. And you can say, why they didn't do it? And I will ask you, why the leaders of Hamas are billionaires? How come? How come they are billionaires? They are billionaires. They are taking the money. They are taking the people's money, and they put it or in their pocket or inside their the military things that they want. Why is that? They can build thousands of new schools.
Yeah, or hospitals
Or
or
hospitals.
buildings, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly right, yeah.
Why? Why is that? So I don't understand, and I can't understand why the world is accepting this. It doesn't seem logical to me that you are taking money from your pocket and to give them, and you say, okay, where is the money? I invest in you. You can see a tunnel there. This is not what you gave them your money for. So they have a lot of money. And they said crowded places, etc. We have in Israel also crowded places that looks even worse than Gaza. Okay, so don't talk about refugees and inherited refugees. Why? Can I speak something about refugees?
Just go.
I don't understand why there is one specific VIP refugees agency in the world that support only Palestinians. Why the rest of the world needs to have one agency for refugees and the Palestinians should have one? Why? We have millions of refugees all over the place. Why there is no single refugee for each country? There is for the rest of the world and the Palestinian. If you won't help them, if you always put them to be as refugees, they will stay in this situation. If you want them to start to communicate and start to develop, you need to stop this. You need to start and listen. You have to put them on your feet. You have enough money. Start making your own country. Do it, but don't always be just I'm a refugee. I can't do nothing.
So, do you think peace is possible if Hamas stays in power, say in Palestine?
To tell you the truth, I don't believe it can happen because it's the ideology. But if for some reason somebody for Hamas, and I'm saying something that I shouldn't say, but I'm saying my opinion. If somebody from Hamas will say, okay, we are willing, and we will act as in other places. No weapons here. We have collateral for all over the countries. All the Arab countries will sign it. All the West countries will sign it. That you have a country, but you have to be with no weapon. With no weapon. We need to protect ourselves. I can't believe them. You can see what happened in Syria and Yemen. We are getting attacked from all over the places. So if somebody can guarantee, Israel is small. Israel is small.
It's very small.
Very small.
And most people have never looked at the map to see how small it is, especially when you consider the bordering nations, the other nations that surrounds Israel. I mean, it's so tiny.
Yeah.
And Gaza is even smaller. It's a tiny strip of land that shares a border with Egypt. And it's so small, yet this territorial war that's kind of got the whole world's interest is about this tiny piece of land. And you kind of wonder what's going on.
Yeah, but you know, Gaza was Egypt.
Gaza were what?
Was Egypt.
Yeah.
Before. Why they are not Egyptian? Ask yourself, why they are not Egyptian? Also the West Bank was Jordan. Why they are not Jordanian? Why the Arab countries didn't want to take them to be as part of just to extend the land, to call Gaza Egypt and then to call West Bank Jordan? Why not? Why they didn't want? The Arab country themselves. Do they want the refugees in the Arab countries? Do they want refugees to be in their country? No, they don't want. Why is that? If you can't trust somebody, it's very, very difficult. It's very difficult to believe him. To believe, you have to do something from the roots. You need from the kindergarten to show, yes, we are going in the right way, and then you can build something.
Yeah. But you're absolutely right. It seems as though it's the next generation. It's the young people. If you can educate them and educate them right and fairly, that they might be able to, I want to bring this back, obviously, to your current situation. The truth is we could talk about the war forever. And of course, we are all hoping for peace. But, you're here because you have family right now that aren't by your side. And you desperately want them back. You want them to be by your side. It's not just a topic or a debate. And I think one thing I've seen, again, living in the UK, is a lot of people are happy to get involved in the debate and go back and forth, but they have no idea of the human cost and what it means to lose a family member, or to lose multiple family members, to not be sure where they are. And so, if you could speak to us in the West, this is the last question I'll ask you. If you could speak to us in the West, us in the UK, what's the one thing that we're not understanding about your situation, and also the conflict that we need to really understand? What's the one thing we're getting wrong in the West?
Tell you in one sentence. You think that the evil is good and the good is evil. That is where you are wrong. Here, Israel is not the evil here. Hamas is the evil. Hamas, they are terrorists. What we are dealing here with terrorists. We can't know what is going to happen there. Right now, if I can see a sign of life for my family, yesterday, 2 days before that, I don't know about today what is going to happen to them, if they are going still to be alive. We are always hearing about another hostage is dead, another hostage is dead, another hostage is dead, they killed, they were, and nobody will blame them. Nobody will say, hey, why all they was dead? Why they are dead here? Why they are not going to Hamas? Why they are taking us to putting the pressure on us? We want to see the Hamas prisoners. We want that they will see lawyers or to get treatment or that. They are demanding it. I'm demanding the same for my family. I'm demanding for somebody to see them. I want the Red Cross to go and to see these babies. I do not know what the Kfir ate from 9 years old. Nobody knows what is going on with them. I don't know the mental of Yarden mentality right now about hearing about his family was killed. I don't know. So you have to understand. The world is looking like an upside down world. Israel is not the evil here, even what they are letting you to see, because it's very easy to see the footage that are coming from Gaza. It's very easy to see places that are bombed. But why are they bombed? Because somebody shoot from that place. Somebody shoot from that school. Somebody shoot from that mosque. Somebody did something. They put guns there. So they are not just. There's not just people want to the idea of want and just to destroy this place. No, the easiest thing for us to do, and I'm giving a very simple people to understand. Israel, is a very powerful army. The IDF is very powerful. After we kill a terrorist, there are funeral, right? Usually, I'm not talking about these days, specifically in the past. There are funerals. Who is participating in the funerals? All the other terrorists, They're going in lines. The easiest for Israel to go, just kill all of them. Why they are not doing it? It's very easy. Why we are not? Because we are not shooting just to shoot. We are not shooting just to kill. We are shooting about the one who is going to kill you. So if somebody want to kill you, putting a gun in your head, you're going to shoot him back. This is the situation. We have to fight with our hand closed, and when somebody to do like you're going into boxing, and then they're telling you, listen, your head, you have to be with your head behind your back, and he can punch you. This is what they're expecting us to do. So it's very problematic. Everybody need to understand that we are doing what we have to do. We not just go and kill, and we are trying to liberate our kidnaps that are not playing around and going lost there for some reason, like somebody else said that a young girl, 4 years old, that she got lost for 20 days in Gaza and then she was released. Okay? Don't believe. Look at the facts. I'm telling all of your audience, look at the facts. Don't rush to what you hear and what they are telling you. Check the facts, and you will be surprised to see the facts. You will be surprised to the facts that they are not true.
Yeah. Thank you so much for being here. I'm obviously very sorry about your situation. I'm praying that things will be resolved, and your family will be returned to you safe. I think a lot of people listening too are interested in peace, and every human life lost is just a price too much. And I'm just praying for this whole situation that there is some sort of resolve at the end of it all. Obviously, thank you for being here and live in the studio, making the journey as well. Yeah. And yeah, we'll be staying in contact with you for sure.
Thank you. But I have one thing to do, if I may. Just one thing about that I know, that people that against Israel is always saying about the apartheid. Do your homework. Try to see what is an apartheid, because there is no apartheid in Israel. We are government, Arab, Muslim, in our Knesset. They can be lawyers. They are working together with us. We are sharing the same buses. They are sharing the same workplaces. All the signs are in Hebrew, in Arabic, in English. You can go to all places. There is no problem. So this nonsense of apartheid, just to remove it, and just check the facts.
I mean, that one's ridiculous. I was in Israel and I saw and heard from so many Arabs speaking to me about the members of the Knesset, the fact that you had judges, you had folks in the Supreme Court. Who are, it's nonsense, to be honest. But I think you have to do the research, to your point, because that particular point is genuinely nonsense. If you go there and you also start speaking to people, you're just like, oh gosh, this is just not what we expected. I mean, we had lunch and Arab, kind of Muslim. So they were talking to us. It was just not what we heard here in the West.
Yeah, they're talking about white and black. Yeah. I'm my parents from Yemen. Yemen. I'm not white. I'm not from Europe. Okay. Other members, they are from Yemen, from Morocco, from Algeria, from Ethiopia.
Correct.
We have all the colors there. There's no white and black and brown or whatever. We have mix of everything. Yeah. So to say white, it's
just not true. But I think that is, for me, the big takeaway, obviously beyond your personal tragedy, is also just inviting people not to see this conflict as just two different sides, but understanding there's nuance, there's lots of things going on. And also, not to just believe what's on the mainstream media or even alternative media, but to do your own research and to follow the facts. I think that's a really key thing. There's a lot of propaganda out there from all sides. And I think folks just need to actually do research and follow the facts. So I hope people take that away.
Yeah, to tell you the truth, I'm terrified. Right now, I'm terrified. What is going on? What is going on right now in the world? I'm totally terrified because you can see that jihadists are rising and people are joining them, but they don't know that right now we are in the front of the terror, and everybody should be there to be with us, to be against it. Otherwise, it will be in your home, it will be in the world, it will be all over, and we need to stop it. People need to understand it's their home, it's your home. If you won't stop it, it will go further and further, and I don't know what is going to happen. I'm afraid.
Yahia, thank you so much for being here. Thank you.
Thank you.
So if you like that video, there is one way you can help us. And you know what it is? I want you to hit the subscribe button. We are trying to get to 20,000 subscribers. As we get there, and as you subscribe, we can bring on more guests. We can level up the production of what we're doing. And it's the one way you can ensure that we can keep creating videos like this in the future. So do it now. Hit the subscribe button, turn on your notification bell, right? But also drop me a comment. Let me know if you like this video, if you want more things like this, and that way we can keep learning. So thank you so much for supporting us. See you in the next video.